Welcome back to another episode, my friend. So why is creativity so important for us in midlife? And what does it have to do with motorcycles and cameras? Well, everything we do in life, it's our beautiful innate form of self-expression. And now that we're in our 40s, 50s, and 60s, we got some real strong years of experience under our belt. So midlife creativity, this is our opportunity to form all of those years of experiences into our unique self-expression. And wow, it's very fulfilling. I'd even say it feels therapeutic. It feels right to express ourselves creatively because it's genetically encoded in us. It's the main part of this human experience. But the flying kick to the pills is this modern society we live in. Most jobs require us to not get creative. So that natural childlike inclination for play and creativity, man, that fades in life faster than a politician's promises. Okay, so midlife creativity, but in what form? That is why I put together this episode today. I'm excited to talk about this with you. So we're going on a little adventure today. So come on, let's get moving and grooving. Let's do a drone photography, videography session. Then we'll go back to our discussion on discovering and expressing our innate creativity. So nearby is a small commercial fishing dock. So we'll put the drone up and hopefully we'll get some shots of the boats coming and going out to sea. And they usually have a bunch of seagulls following them. And I think that's gonna look beautiful in slow motion with the morning sunrise behind it. Oh yeah. Score! There's a commercial fishing boat coming in now. Let's circle around behind the boat so the golden sun is in the background, and that should create a really beautiful silhouette to everything. Oh, this is looking tasty. Let's get in a little closer. So I'm thinking of putting the drone very low to hopefully get some of that rigging and seagulls above the horizon line to give a really beautiful silhouette against the sky. Oh dang, he's turning around now. That does not look very bueno. So let's try slowly slide to the left. See if we can get lucky with some birds crossing the sky. Oh, I think we got it. Oh man, I love this. Motorcycles and cameras, they share this beautiful kinship because both require us to get out in nature and engage in the beautiful world around us. Both machines force us to be fully present with them, in the moment, attentive, slow down, notice details, capture moments of lights and shadows. Man, I tell you, both motorcycles and cameras, they're a full sensory experience and they just perfectly dissolve all of the frivolous little everyday BS in life. So earlier we talked about reconnecting with our unique creativity in midlife. But in what form? Absolutely everything. Photography, our YouTube channels, writing, cooking, the motorcycle and riding gear we choose, poetry, even the words we speak and the way we present ourselves, all of that is our creative expression. So right now I'm going to share with you the 2 most important quotes I've found on creativity. Then I'm going to share with you how I started doing this recently and deciding to pay a little bit more attention to how I express my creativity in midlife. Creativity is born out of doing, not planning and overthinking. Trial and error is what leads to creative discoveries and breakthroughs. You know, it's the child mind that just naturally explores and plays and creates, but it's the adult mind that is the undisputed world champion of overthinking and overanalyzing. So if you're on board with this movement of further exploring our midlife creativity, do not sit around and try and plan your way to more creativity. Creativity, it's the consequence of action, not the motivation of action. Haha, yeah. Now, let's show you how I've been expressing my creativity the last few years. There's 3 different ways primarily. So let's start with my personal items. I was never a jewelry guy growing up, like at all. But as I got a little older, I made a conscious decision to express my creativity by collecting indigenous jewelry from my travels and also handcrafting some pieces. Let's show you what I got here. So I no longer drink alcohol very often, but I keep this flask because it's part of this leather bag I made for myself many years ago. I bought the flask at a pawn shop in Nevada. It's got a cool look to it. My wallet I made for myself. She's got some really beautiful patina on it now. Man, I love this gal. Now my watch, this is the only thing I own that is like a consumer brand label, but here's why. I was a teenager in the 80s, so Swatch watches were just as cool as it got. I'm no longer into fancy material brand named items, but I did always admire the Omega watch brand. I just thought those watches were really cool, having gone to the moon. James Bond wore an Omega, and the brand has a deep racing heritage. Now, did you know Swatch owns Omega? Yep. So when they came out with this collaboration series, Chronograph, I bought one instantly. I just love this thing. Now this is just a cuff I made for myself. I love turquoise. This has a bit of a Native American vibe I was going for. This I bought from a street vendor in Bangkok. It was about 20 cents. Man, I love this thing. This wrist cuff is interesting. It was originally a dog collar that I designed. When I was living in Indonesia, I found a small leather factory and I designed and worked with them to launch a luxury dog accessories company that I named Vagabond Dogs. I ran it for about 2 years, then I decided I just did not want to do it anymore. I was spending all my time doing order fulfillment, customer service tracking on late packages that were sent to different countries all around the world. It was actually a lot of headaches. This is just a little copper cuff, no idea where I got it, but I love copper, the material, so I always have this on. This is a little hose clamp I got off my 1955 Cadillac Coupe de Ville. A friend and I chopped the top 2 inches and fully customized it. Her name was Gloria. But about 12 years ago, I was super short on cash, and in a moment of pure temporary insanity, I sold it. It truly brings deep sadness that this car is no longer in my life. Man, I gotta get that car back. There's a big hole in my heart shaped like Gloria. Okay, moving on. This I got when I was traveling. I was living on a tiny island off Cambodia, and I met this super bohemian couple from Sweden. And they support their permanent traveling by handcrafting these necklaces for people. So this I purchased from a street vendor in Kathmandu about 3 years ago. I was living in Nepal, volunteering and filming for 3 different charities. These beautiful beads I turned into a necklace. Oh, I love this piece. There's no special story here. I just bought these in New York City at a bead shop. I just like the color, really. Oh yes! This piece was handmade and gifted to me by a dear friend. We went to Burning Man a few years ago. Burning Man is a 1-week-long festival in the Nevada desert with about 80,000 people. It's been going on for 30 years now, and it's a social experiment basically. All money is illegal. It's a gifting society based entirely on art and music, participation, mindful living, and so on. It is pretty damn wild. I've been going for about 15 years now. I highly recommend you check it out. So this necklace is melted glass from the actual man being burned on the final day of the festival. I wear this piece very often. And lastly are my mala beads I got in Nepal. They're prayer beads originating in Nepal, India region, traditionally used for counting during meditation, I believe. And I always have my bandana with me. You know, just having a rag handy, it's always convenient, and it kind of lends itself to my style. And honorable mention has to go to my 2 cameras, because they are like jewelry to me. They're a part of me, my identity, literally my everyday. I call my cameras my creation machines, and my motorcycle, it's my freedom machine. The next way I'm being more creative in my second half of life is this YouTube channel. It is an impossibility to overstate just how much joy I get from making these playful little episodes. I kind of consider it my video diary, crafting these little video essays every week. You know, I only picked up a camera for the first time about 5 or 6 years ago. So this whole filming and editing and being on camera is all new to me. Now, I'm a 3rd-generation filmmaker. My grandfather ran a production studio in New York City, and my grandmother, she was a fascinating artist. If you want to do more research on her, her name was Mary Ellen Bute. And she wrote and produced a short film that cast Christopher Walken in his very first movie. I'll put a link down below if you want to watch the whole thing. Yeah, she was exceptionally pioneering for a woman in the arts back in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. The Whitney Museum of Art in New York City has a few of her pieces on their permanent collection. Okay, so this YouTube channel is now my forever career. You know, I only make a few $100s a month from this YouTube channel, so calling it a career might be a bit of a stretch. But the community we're growing here just blows me away. I will never stop doing this here with you. Coming in the future, we have a documentary project, a world tour, community inclusions, some truly exciting projects coming. And the last way I'm being more creative is with my leather fabrication. So in 2007, I randomly bought a big piece of tooling leather. And like most master craftsmen throughout history, I watched a few YouTube tutorials and I immediately started a business. I pretty quickly became quite renowned in the design world. I was living life in the fast lane for sure, but after 11 years of that, I truly wanted to close my shop in Brooklyn, get out of New York City, and do some traveling. That is when I picked up a video camera for the first time and simply fell in love. Yeah, I enjoy jumping on leather projects occasionally because it's entirely handcrafted, manipulating leather and materials and hand tools. It's pretty gratifying in this very digital world to actually handcraft something physical that you can, hold in your hand and throw at someone when they try and eat the last muffin. One of the rewards of being a little seasoned in life is we have more self-sovereignty. We can now slow down a bit, contemplate our priorities and decisions and choices, and better listen to our intuition. And we simply just have more experience to draw from. So it's such a great time to re-emphasize, reprioritize, rejuvenate our relationship with our innate creativity. Now, this is a two-way conversation. Please let me know down in the comments, where are you on this spectrum of just deciding to want to start looking at more creativity, or are you a lifelong creative? I would love to know. Please share down in the comments. And you know, I get so much joy from making these videos with you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.